everyone. It's Sabire Akay from Istanbul, Turkey. I'm a education and training specialist working in healthcare solutions. And today, when I heard the theme of this year event, it's about human. I was really excited about it because uh, from like the last year we were always hearing about artificial intelligence, and I thought that we start to like lose the momentum of the human centric points. So with this goal and aim, I thought that I would like to talk about emotional intelligence and social emotional learning, focusing on the e-learning engagement actually. So for that reason, today's I will be starting talking about social emotional learning at first from the perspective of the educational research, and then I will be focusing on emotional intelligence from the point of psychology. We will be seeing how can we integrate social emotional learning into our e-learning designs, and I will be showing some case studies for you to just see what's going on around. So before starting the session, I would like to ask a very brief question to you, and I will be following the chat for your answers. How are you feeling today? So from my other device, I'm trying to like follow up the chat as well. Well, I can see the replies coming from awesome, energized, tired, yeah, groggy, feeling good. Yeah, so we all have in different moods, different emotions right now. Maybe like you are still working, maybe you are done with the working, but following the sessions. So actually, even this like simple question, how are you feeling today, is an example of how can we integrate the emotions of the others. And from this point, like I would like to start with the definition of the social emotional learning to you. Actually, from the educational research perspective and the literature, there are several definitions of social emotional learning. But in a basic sense, it starts from self of ourselves. So, like, we are starting from understanding and managing our own self emotions, thoughts, and ideas. And then we are going from the social environment, like our close narratives, the environment that we are working, our friends and family. We are trying to start making empathy to others. We are trying to create relationships with them. So this is the point of the social emotional learning, starting with myself and just like switching around to others. And when it comes to like the components of the social emotional learning, there are five main components. These are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making. Even from the components, you can see that like it starts again from the self of the person and going to the wider circle that we have. So before just jumping into the other details, I would like to go through with these basic components. What are them and what they include? The first thing is self-awareness, and self-awareness is focusing on like your own emotions, thoughts, and values. And for understanding, like getting aware of it, we mostly try to identify our strengths and weaknesses as we do in our professional life. We are doing it for our personal life through our emotions as well. And when it comes to management, so we just start getting aware of what we are feeling. Now we need to learn how to regulate, how to manage this. So the self-management is focusing on the regulation of the emotions, controlling our impulses, and adapting it to the changing situations like the flexible working environment. So in this part, we are focusing on time management, stress, goal setting, and like demonstrating resilience. These are the main components of the self-management. So as I said, we start with the self-inquiry, and then we go through with the social aspect of our life, like our friends, family, and others. And the third component of the self says that social awareness is important because like we need to empathize with others. We need to understand their cultures, their ideas, their social environment, so that we can create this empathy and compassion towards them. And after understanding the like others in terms of their cultures, important in terms of their social cues, we are starting to creating some relations with them. So like in the relation part, we are starting to use active listening, cooperation, teamwork, and leadership. And when you see these are all the 21st century skills needed for your work life and also your personal life. And after like completing this relationship point, we go through with the decision making point, in which we need to go through with responsible decision making. Why we are calling it as responsible decision making? Why it's not random decision making? Because in this one, we need to understand the risk. We need to evaluate them. We need to use some problem solving skills, and we need to take accountable for our actions. And while doing our decisions, we need to go through ethical and constructive choices. So we need to understand what would be the result of our actions and the consequences. So in the main basic parts of the social emotional learning, these are the main information and the like components of the social emotional learning. But from the psychology perspective, we call this process mostly through emotional intelligence. And since like the terms are different, still they have the common points. So again, coming from the literature, emotional intelligence says that it starts again from the one's own emotion. So I need to again understand and recognize and manage my own relations. Then I need to go to others to like perceive and influence their emotions. And as like social emotional learning have, emotional intelligence has its elements as well, like self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills. And when we just look at from the emotional intelligence perspective, again, it starts with the self and going to others. So I need to first show empathy to myself. I need to show like learn my own emotions so that I can go to the others. And like also these elements has their own definitions in their self as well. So for self-awareness, again, it's go through understanding our emotions, strengths and weaknesses. And self-regulation is similar to self-management. So we are managing and controlling our emotions and behaviors. And empathy is also similar to previous ones. We are showing our we are sharing and understanding the perspectives, feelings, and emotions of others. And the social skills are the communication and collaboration part of it. So I understand myself. I learn how to manage myself. Then I try to understand other. I try to see them in my shoes, and I see my in their shoes. And then lastly, from this very beginning point, I go to the communication and collaboration part of it. So when we just go through with this information, we start with the social emotional learning. We talk about emotional intelligence. We need to just merge this information into our e-learning engagement, e-learning environment. So why we need to incorporate emotional intelligence in terms of e-learning? And these are from the research supported ideas. So like based on the studies done in the educational research, emotional intelligence and social emotional learning can help in terms of enhanced motivation, so that learners can have better intrinsic motivation. And the second reason is improved focus. So like with the strategies and activities done in emotional intelligence, learners can regulate their distractions, the concentration, and stay engaged during their learning journey. The third is effective communication. Through practicing effective communication skills, they can express themselves better and they can understand others better. The fourth reason is collaboration. And in collaboration, we go through with the effective teamwork and collaboration through empathy, active listening, and conflict resolution. The fifth is adaptability, in which we just start to adapt ourselves on the changes and uncertainties around us and also around the context that we are working with. And lastly, it helps us to create a positive learning environment, because like we will have a supportive and inclusive online community with the questions, with that activities that we are doing, because like learners have a chance to share their own ideas, their own journeys, so that they can have a mutual collaboration space in the learning environment. So after talking about these basics about this e-learning engagement, actually I would like to share some integration points in terms of social emotional learning and emotional intelligence. And in this part, like again, I would like to just highlight the components once more. So that we said we have five main components: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making. And from this, I will be sharing some kind of activities that can be done. And after that, I will be showing some kind of a real done case studies on these. So when it comes to self-awareness, which was the first step, we can integrate some reflection activities, like add some reflection questions, self-reflection um, exercises to our e-learning. We can add mood check-ins, emotion check-ins, so that learners can express their emotions daily or on a certain basis. We can add some goal setting exercises so that they can make some goal activities. We can get help from journaling prompts. So like in nearly all topics, we can find journaling prompts in which students and learners can express their ideas. We can get benefit from personality assessment. And by saying personality assessment, especially with the scientifically proven assessments are important to use here. And lastly, for the self-awareness, we can go through with mindfulness practices. So these are the some activities that can be done for self-awareness. So this is not a final list of activities. You can just like find or create another kind of activities for this purpose. And when it comes to self-management, in this part, we mostly go through with managerial activities like time management tools. For example, Pomodoro. Pomodoro is a like time management tool that you can incorporate into your e-learning. And stress management techniques, self-regulation strategies, or goal setting frameworks. Like there are several goal setting framework like SMART goals. So you can get benefit from them as well while creating your e-learning journey. You can go through with decision-making exercise, and again, some self-assessment quizzes can be used for this self-management. And when it comes to social awareness, we can get help from the diversity and inclusion discussions. We can use perspective taking exercises, cultural competency models, empathy building scenarios, community engagement projects, and virtual field trips. And for relationship skills, we can get benefit from collaborative projects, peer feedback, simulations for conflict resolution, team building activities, workshops for communication, and role playing scenarios. And for the last component, responsible decision making, we can go through with ethical dilemma discussions, decision making frameworks, case studies for the consequences, problem solving tasks, scenario based assessment, and critical thinking exercises. So from until this point, we just like go through with theory and like written examples. So maybe it's hard to make them concrete on your mind. But from now on, I will be showing some real case studies done on both like young learners and K-12 and also like working adults. So from this point, I will be showing 2 to 3 examples per each category, and I will be explaining them as well. So the first one is for self-awareness and is a reflection activity. And we have an audience of high school students here on the course of Introduction to Environmental Science with the topic of climate change and biodiversity. And in our e-learning, after like adding some information about the topic, we add a session for your turn session in which we are adding a question of what are the 3 small changes you could make in your daily routine to reduce your carbon footprint and positively impact the environment. So like the learners are, after completing the information part, they are coming here and they are like reflecting their idea on the like text bubble available here. So for this activity, the thing that they need to do in terms of self-awareness is they need to like start with the thinking about their daily routine. What are they doing in like their like one simple day? And they need to think about the activities they do. So like they need to go through a self-awareness on the activities they did. Another type of activity that can be shown in terms of the self-awareness is mood check-ins. And for the mood check-ins, it's the one of the easiest and like I think the ones that I really like. We are just like creating a emotion board for the learners. And in this one, we have a working professionals as our audience on a course on professional development in stress management. And from this like e-learning path, they are starting with their mood of the day. So we are just like creating a connection between the weathers. So like we just create, say that like for happy, for example, a sunny day, or like for confused, like sunny and rainy day. So like they are matching their mood with the weathers, and we are also like learn their moods on that day, whether they are okay, whether they are not, so that we can also adapt our mood based on their availability. And for self-awareness, the third activity that I really like is mindfulness practices, which are also available on YouTube and other resources. Again, we have a course on leadership skills development for working professionals here. And after like 5 to 10 minutes of learning journey, we put 1 minute mediation videos on the e-learning itself, so that like they can just make a stop on their learning process. They can just make a pause, listen to themselves, and get some breath and get some pause, so that they can observe themselves. So this is also good for working professionals and also synchronous learning, because like most of the learners try to complete the training in a faster way, and in that doing that, they forget giving some breaks. And because of that, adding this kind of videos can help them to just stop, think, and continue. After talking about the ideas of the self-awareness, I would like to share some examples from self-management as well. So the first activity is for goal setting. And in this one, our audience for young learners on the course of social studies. And for this group and course, the topic was change and growth in New Year. So they were focusing on the New Year content and New Year resolutions. And to just like create connection between the topic and their personal life, we just create the like writing paint for them, in which like they are writing their 4 main goals for the New Year's. So they were just typing their goals on the screen, and at the end of the like e-learning, they have chance to print this out, so that they can also use this for their personal life as well. The other example of the stress management is actually about for the self-management is about stress management, and this is similar to mindfulness practice actually, but this is for young learners on a course of science studies. And even though the topic is about seasons and weather, the activity is not directly with that topic. So even like in your e-learnings, and even when you want to like incorporate emotional intelligence, the topic and the activity like haven't do not have to be the same topic actually. So in this one, we go through with the star breathing technique for the young adults, because like young adults don't like the this kind of 1 minute breathing techniques. So for them we go through with the animation version of this technique, and we call it star breathing. So this star on the screen was getting bigger and smaller in an animation, and we ask the young learners to like follow this star in terms of breathe in and breathe out. So this is also important for young learners, because like they like just get bored easily when they do this kind of e-learning and even in classroom activities. So having this kind of breaks help them to just like get them back in the learning. And for the self-management, the third activity that we go through was self-assessment. And for this one, we did it for adult learner group on the effective communication skills, focusing on improving interpersonal communication. And for this one, we add a self-assessment quiz for them. So the topic is, for example, active listening skills, and we add questions based on their assessment, like how would you rate your active listening skills during conversations? And in this one, there were no like true, false, wrong, correct answers. They were just assessing themselves. And for better reliability, we did this test 2 times, like in the beginning of the whole like learning path and at the end of the learning path. And the learners can get a copy of this so they can compare their results and see the change in their skills as well. So once you add some this kind of self-assessment, you can always like add a like PDF download or printing option so that the learners can have the copy of what they did previously. So after talking about this self-awareness and self-management, I would like to show some example from the social awareness now. And the point that I would like to go through is diversity and inclusion discussions. And for it, again, we go through with adult learners on the effective team collaboration through building strong teams. And we created discussion board for them on a certain question. The question was, how can inclusive communication practices contribute to better team performance and productivity? And we asked them to like add their answers for the question. And through this question, they also have chance to comment to others, and they can also have chance to like dislike to each other. So they have a place, like a synchronous place to discuss between them. For another example for the social awareness, we go through with empathy building scenarios. And in this one, we go through with the customer service excellence topic, again with adult learners. And the topic was empathetic communication with customers. So on this one, we go through with a scenario on their topic. So like they are customer service workers, like call center workers, and we have a like similar scenario that they are having in their daily life, in their working life. And for this one, like they have different options going through different answers. So they were testing themselves and trying to create empathy on the scenario so that once they have a similar experience, they can see what can be done or what shouldn't be done. And for the fourth component of the social emotional learning as the relationship skills, we go through with the peer feedback idea. And for this one, we go through with this public speaking class, and the topic was about the presentation skills for career success. And like the audience is focusing on like the adult learners. So they were doing presentations as like demo presentations to just practice their skills. And after the presentations are done, they have the peers. So their peers were writing their comment on this pane available for them, and they were sharing the comment to each other so that they can see the points, whether which are good, which are not. And for the next, we have the relationship skills again for team building activities. And in this one, we have again the adults in a specific corporate setting. The course was about innovation and design thinking, and we went through with the how might we activity on this one. So like they are creating teams according to the common ideas that they have. So the question was, how might we develop a sustainable workplace for all? And for this one, they were like creating these sticky notes and adding their questions, adding their ideas, and like the people with the same ideas and people with the same questions are creating teams and going through with the questions together to create one single answer. So they are creating their teams by themselves. And after that, I would like to go through with the responsible decision making at the fifth point of the social emotional learning. And in this one, we go through with ethical dilemma discussion. So especially in the responsible decision making, ethical dilemmas are mostly used. And for this reason, we go through with this one. And our audience was researchers and healthcare professionals. And the topic was about animal testing in medical research. And for this activity, we had the question of should scientists use animals for medical research to potentially develop life-saving treatments, even though it involved causing harm and suffering to the animals. So this was the question that we asked to them. And again, they were writing their ideas to the point. And after they are submitting their ideas, we are collecting them on our system, and we are just having a huge discussion board for it. So we are showing all the answers and discussing on them together on the face-to-face sessions. And for the another example activity for responsible decision making, we have the course for customer experience enhancement. Is for business analysts, consultants, and project managers. And in this one, we go through with a decision making matrix. So we have a certain concern or topic, like deciding on the best way to improve customer service experience. Let's say that this is our topic, and we need to create 5 opinions on this problem or issue. And after writing the opinion, we were writing the objective of it, we were writing the actions done for this, and we were writing the deliverables that can be used for this. And after listing everything, we are seeing that among of these 5 options, some of them are related, some of them are not, so that we can have a chance to remove some of them, we can have a chance to make some pulling on them to select the best one, so that instead of having just one single idea, we go through with different ideas. But for these ideas, we have the reasoning, we have the objectives, and each details to go through actually. So this is how decision making matrix actually used in this way. And actually, I'm coming to end of this presentation, but before finishing the presentation, I would like to go through with a quote that I really find useful. Dr. Mark Brackett says that everyone needs emotional intelligence and opportunities to be brave and kind. I really like this quote because mostly when we go to teaching, instructional design, course development, whatever our task is, sometimes we forget the human factor and we just focus on the subject matter, and we focus on the what kind of interaction, animations, or visuals that we are using. But before thinking about these device based or instruction based points, we need to understand the human, because even the instructional design itself start with the needs analysis of the others, and we always need to start with these needs analysis. And by starting these needs analysis, we need to concern about the emotions of our learners as well, because without emotions, we are all artificial matters, I think. Because even today, we had sessions about artificial intelligence, and in these presentations, we see the importance of the human factor. Even we are saying an AI to make it feel like blah blah blah, or make your tune blah blah friendly, calm, or professional. So all of these factors are the factors of humans. So I believe that, as Mark Brackett say, we need to concern about emotions before the subject and before the instructional strategies, I guess. So thank you. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Sabir. That was very thoughtful. And I saw a lot of, I would say, similarity in opinions among our chat members, among those who are still following us, that they found it extremely important and they love social emotional learning topic. There's been a lot of support, really. But we do have a couple of questions and just a couple of minutes to go through them. So Tracy was asking, can you please explain more how the students get a copy or a print of their own results in the example that you were giving?
Okay, so in the examples that I was giving, we were using some kind of triggers that are like printing the screen at the end of the session, so that we are having some kind of quiz, and at the end of the session we have the print like PDF or like save PDF option, in which like it gives us the answers as a like a Word or like PDF file as a bulk, so that learners have their own copies to go through, and also we can get their responses through our LMS as well.
Right. And there was a follow-up question also from Tracy, who was asking, and how do they get to comment on each other's answers?
Okay, for this one, like we were using some like in interpersonal communication tools. Like there are several like online discussion board tools, and also our LMS has this kind of online discussion board. We were getting help from these.
All right, I see. Well, if you wish to give a little bit more details later, I'll be super happy if you stay with us in the chat, as we still have several more presentations going on, but I know it's already very late anyway. So maybe a last comment that I would like to read is from Ashley. I really appreciated this one. The comment was that it sounds like you're incorporating Socratic questions. And I would probably agree. I don't know if you want to relate to that.
Yeah, like when it comes to like getting like information or emotions from people, you need to go through Socratic, because like you cannot say a person like you are feeling that. No, you cannot get that information. Like not just like find that information in our mind. We need to go that person's heart.
Yeah.
And we can do that through, as you say, like Socratic methods.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much, Sabir. And again, there's been a lot of support and appreciation for your time. And Danny found that it was truly good information for industrial organization psychology.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a
Thank you
lot for
so
opening.
much.